Hi everyone, I'm Selina and I'm the co-founder of ScarboroRuns, a run club based in Scarborough. When the Canada Running Series asked me to talk about how to find your running community, I realized there isn't really one simple answer. Because before we talk about how to find a community, I think it's important to talk about what a running community actually is. A running community isn't just a group of people who happen to run together once a week. It's the people who text you before a race to wish you luck. It's the people waiting for you at the finish line. It's the people who celebrate your personal bests just as much as their own. And it's the people who remind you that one bad run doesn't actually define you. A community isn't something you find overnight. It's definitely something that you grow into. It's built through months of training together, early morning alarms, long runs that fly by because you're chatting with someone beside you, race day celebrations, post-run coffees, or in my case, a post-run matcha. And even those cold or rainy mornings when you probably would have stayed in bed if you weren't meeting other runners. And so I think those are the moments that sort of turn familiar faces into friends. And one of the moments that really changed the way that I think about community happened actually during my first marathon. I think I was at the 30-kilometer mark when everything hurt and I was deep in my own head, and a woman standing on the sidelines reached out and handed me a bracelet. It just had 2 words on it. It said, "Keep going," and that was it. I'm actually wearing it right now. And I'll probably never see that person ever again, but I've never forgotten that moment because it really reminded me that the running community has this incredible way of showing up for one another, even if we've never met. Sometimes encouragement comes from your training partners. Sometimes it comes from a volunteer. Sometimes it's a stranger on the side of the course reminding you that you're stronger than you think. And that's what makes running so special. As a run club leader, I've been lucky enough to watch that same spirit play out over and over again. I've watched people join our community because they were brand new to running and didn't know where to start. I've met people who just moved to Toronto and were looking to meet new people. I've met runners training for their very first 5K and others trying to qualify for Boston. And over time, I've watched those same people find training partners, build confidence. We're celebrating birthdays at Run Club, marathon finishes, and huge life milestones together. And I've watched people support each other through injuries, through difficult seasons of life, and through races that didn't go, the way that they hoped. And so, running starts as an individual sport, but it doesn't have to stay that way. And some of the best friendships I've made started because someone simply decided to, show up to one run at ScarboroRuns. And I think that's something that people don't always realize. Community isn't built after one run. It happens after the 2nd run, the 5th run, the 10th run. And that's sort of how familiar faces become conversations, and these conversations become friendships. And if you're thinking about joining a run club, I know it can feel intimidating, especially if you're going by yourself. As a woman, I completely understand that feeling of like you're walking into a group of strangers, wondering if everyone already knows each other. You wonder if you'll fit in. You wonder if everyone is going to be faster than you, or whether you'll spend, the whole run sort of feeling awkward. And those thoughts are completely normal. The biggest misconception people have about Run Club is that you need to be a certain pace to belong. And honestly, that's probably the number one question we get in our Instagram DMs. It's some sort of question related to like, am I too slow? And my answer is always the same. Community has nothing to do with pace. I've seen like Boston qualifiers become friends with people training for their first 5K. I've seen runners slow down so no one has to run alone. I've seen people cross finish lines together instead of, racing ahead. And pace doesn't build community. Showing up does. And so if you're nervous about joining a run club, here are a few things I'd recommend. First, remind yourself that every single person was new once. Even the people who seem like they've known each other forever had a first run. Someone introduced themselves to them. Someone made them feel welcome. Someone invited them for coffee afterwards. You deserve that same experience. Secondly, don't be afraid to introduce yourself. A simple hi, it's my first time here, goes a really long way. I think run club leaders genuinely want to know who's new because they want to make sure you feel included. And thirdly, don't be discouraged if the first run club you try doesn't feel like the perfect fit. You know, every run club has a different personality. Some are really social, some are more performance-based, some are big, some are small, and some meet in the mornings, others at night. There's no right or wrong, just sort of different communities for different people. So give yourself permission to explore and see what's out there. I think the most important piece of advice that I could give you is don't decide after one run. Community takes time. Go back, learn people's names, stay for coffee, volunteer at a race, and join the cheer squad. These moments outside of running are often where the strongest, friendships are built. One of my favorite ways to experience the running community is actually by volunteering. If you've never cheered at a race before, I really can't recommend it enough. Standing on the sidelines, cheering for complete strangers, it's actually such an incredible feeling. You celebrate every runner, whether they're chasing a personal best or sort of simply trying to make it to the finish line. And it's a reminder that, running is so much bigger than pace, distance, or even finish times. It's really about encouraging each other. It's about believing in people, even if you've only known them for a few seconds. And if you're wondering where to actually find a run community, there are so many places to start. You can look on Strava, search Instagram, visit your local running store, talk to other runners at races, ask people where they train. The running community is so well connected, and people genuinely enjoy introducing others to run clubs that they think they'll enjoy. At the end of the day, finding your running community isn't about finding the perfect club. It's about finding a place where you feel comfortable enough to keep coming back, because the people you meet there might become your training partners, your biggest cheerleaders, the people who convince you to sign up for races you never thought you could do. They're the people who remind you to keep going when training gets hard, or simply the friends you grab coffee with after a Saturday morning run. So if you've been thinking about joining a run club, this is your sign. Come exactly as you are. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to know anyone. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just show up, because you never know. The run you're nervous about today might be the one where you meet the people who change your running journey forever.